Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the webinar entitled Email Marketing to Increase Event Attendance. My name is Jeff Baker, and I will be your moderator for today's program. The program will last approximately 30 minutes and include a specific question and answer period at the end of the call. You may submit your questions at any time by typing them into the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen, and then click the Enter or the Call Out button. If you have any technical questions during the event, you can email support@highroadsolution.com. Today's webinar is being recorded, and all participant lines will be muted during the live program. Now it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Today's speaker is John Brandt, Sales Director and Email Strategy Consultant for HighRoad Solution. John has over 7 years' experience in the email marketing space, and he cut his teeth as an email marketer and marketing manager with Thomson Reuters, and spent more than 3 years at Blue Hornet, a major enterprise-level ESP, as the Director of Strategy and Operations for the Blue Hornet Agency channel. With that, John, take it away.
Thanks, Jeff. Again, my name is John Brandt, Sales Director here at HighRoad Solution. Thank you to all for joining today. It's my pleasure to speak with you today about event marketing and how you can take advantage of some marketing automation and segmentation techniques to help you be a success at your next event. So, for those of you that are new to event marketing or not in event marketing currently, you may look at this picture and think, wow, that is a really nice venue. For those of you that are seasoned event marketers, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, that is a lot of seats to fill. Where am I going to start? Effectively putting people in the seats is an art. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure that many of you have some great tips on how to do this and things that have really worked for you in the past. But let's focus today on how important email can be in driving your next event. So first, let's speak a little bit more broadly for a moment about some commonalities that make event marketing an important part of your organization. First, most member-driven groups, maybe yours included, have the lion's share of their annual revenues coming from events. So that by itself should be a really good reason why event marketing is an important part of your group. I want to be careful here because I'm not saying that email is the only way that you should be marketing for your upcoming events, obviously not. But email is a super important part because it is so effective for driving attendance. And if you compare the time, energy, and resources that you spend on marketing other types of marketing for your events and compare that to the cost of how much you spend per email, I'm sure that you already know that email is virtually free in comparison. So, effective marketing. You've probably heard this term overused. Essentially, the same tenets of normal email strategy apply to event marketing. So being more relevant, being more surgical with your email. And essentially, that all comes from segmentation, because relevance is going to be an important part of any email campaign, especially event marketing. So for instance, if you have an on-site networking event at a Chili's in downtown San Diego, and you send your invitation to people that are, say, in the San Francisco Bay Area, that is one of the most annoying things for your subscribers. I'm sure you've all been there. But if you want if you want them to ignore your email, that's exactly what you want to do. If you consistently send your email to people where it is the most relevant, then obviously you'll see your opens and click rates go up and to the right. And being surgical doesn't stop with the original invitation. You should also target those subscribers that have shown interest in the event. This doesn't just mean those that have attended the annual event in the past or those that have shown up for the local events on a regular basis, although you should definitely include those people. This is really about those that have opened and clicked your email, your original invitation emails for this event. Those are the people that are interested. Essentially, you don't want to segment folks based on the assumed level of interest. and put them in a group separate from those that have not opened or clicked that message, and target each of those groups differently. Essentially, there's a reason for why subscribers that have clicked on your email agenda or your registration page but have not yet registered, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. So you want to treat them a little bit differently. And don't forget social. If there's anything, if you guys are anything like me, I use Twitter primarily for work. Twitter is a great place to get recommendations from people within your vertical, within your industry, about knowledge and events that are coming up. I mean, I don't tweet about, having a great bowl of Cheerios this morning, but I will tweet about an article that I received in my inbox that I think is really well done or that's really on point, and that I think people that I work with on a day-to-day basis might find some value in. You guys should be doing this too if you're not already, and you don't have to tweet every day. I don't tweet every day, maybe a couple times every other week or something like that. So essentially, having share tags in your emails is really important, and it's so easy to do. And as a matter of fact, when I see emails that don't have share tags in them and I want to share that email, it's kind of weird that they don't have that. It kind of raises an eyebrow. Also, testing. Test. Testing is so important, and let's delve into that a little bit later on as well. So, emails that cry wolf. This is it's important as I set this up that I say that I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I fly on Delta a lot, so I get a lot of Delta email. And I know that this example, as you can see here, hopefully you guys can read it, is not an event email per se, but bear with me for a moment because it goes to the emails that cry wolf analogy. So now, you can imagine how many marketers there are on the Delta team and how ginormous the marketing budget must be at Delta, but yet they are breaking a cardinal rule of email marketing in sending me this email. This email that I received a couple of weeks ago is one in a series of emails that absolutely make no sense to me. They're completely irrelevant because they are for email fares originating from airports not being Minneapolis. So as you can see in this one, it's flights out of Georgia. So completely irrelevant to me. And because I get these all the time, it's a series here. I mean, if I got only one or two of these occasionally, I wouldn't be so irritated by it. But I get these emails from Delta all the time. So literally, it has tuned me out to these fare sale emails. When I see this, I just delete it right away. So that is a problem. So now let's put yourself in the shoes of a person, say for instance, that's located in San Antonio. And let's just say your name is Steve the subscriber. And you are a new member. You're eager to get email from this association. You just signed up, and you're really hopeful that the content that you're going to be receiving from said association is going to be really valuable and help you with your career. You get the newsletter and you read it from top to bottom, the entire thing. But now you start getting emails for a lunch event in Dallas and maybe one in El Paso. And this happens all the time, believe me. All of a sudden, you're going to start tuning out to those event emails. You're going to start kind of deleting those without reading them. You'd be surprised at how few of that it actually takes before people start tuning out. So first point here is what a waste of money sending those emails to folks like Steve, who really are not within the target range of that event. And just think of what you're going to miss when you actually send an email to Steve who's in the San Antonio area, and Steve completely deletes your email without even reading the upcoming event in San Diego. So don't cry wolf. Segment your lists. segment appropriately so that you're targeting folks that are in your target area. This can easily be done with dynamic segments. Dynamic segments are super powerful for event marketing. I would, when I talk to folks about this, a lot of times what we typically will do is we'll actually do a custom search first and determine what the right mileage, like say a zip code radius is from the event zip code. And then you can tweak that up and down, basically how many people actually are returned. And then once you've kind of found that sweet spot, then you can go ahead and save that as a dynamic segment right there from the custom search. It's really, really cool. Okay. All right. So welcome to the neighborhood. So events are great ways to engage with your membership, especially new members. As you know, they're all super excited, oftentimes eager to participate. The data shows, and this is no surprise, that those members that are opening your emails and attending your events are far more likely to renew and be long-term members. So create some campaigns around your new members and get them to start attending your events. Maybe they get a separate email offering them something for showing up for the first time. Maybe that's something that you just give them when they show up. Not everybody has to know about. And I'm not necessarily saying that you need to go bake them a pie and give that to them when they show up for the event, although that would be pretty nice. But something to make sure that you can get them engaged, especially at the beginning. If your organization doesn't do smaller events, maybe you just do the bigger paid events, then think about a campaign where you can give those new members a free pass or a discounted registration, something like that. I think that is a really important piece to get them engaged from the very beginning. And all of this is easily segmented. You don't have to go and manually pull lists or anything like that. You just have to have the idea that you want to be able to offer new people this type of a deal, set that up as a dynamic segment, and then you just let it run. Also, let me mention members that have not opened showing up for an event. So this is a slightly more complicated dynamic segment, but something that we are more than happy to help you with brainstorming and actually putting into play. But look at those that have not registered for at the upcoming event, but also have not opened and clicked any of your emails. Those people that have not attended but are frequently opening your emails, maybe they're just not event people. Maybe those people are just fine to continue to keep them in the normal pool of invitees. But those people that have not attended and have not opened and clicked, that's an easy enough segment to do as well. And those are your red flag members. Those ones are the ones that you're probably at higher risk for having them not renew their membership with you. So getting them finally engaged. And I've talked to a lot of associations where potentially you may even, if you can pull a list easy enough, export that list, do a custom search, export it to a spreadsheet, you will find that it's probably not that many people. It wouldn't be a bad idea to actually do some sort of a call out to them because maybe you don't have their #1 email. As I know a lot of people, like myself, we have multiple email addresses. We have probably our work one that we look at every day, so that's your #1 email. And then maybe your second email is your personal email, and maybe if you're like me, you probably look at that once or twice a week. And then you have maybe a third email address, which for me is my Yahoo address, where if I want to get something like a white paper, but I don't want to be contacted by a sales rep, I'll give them my Yahoo address because I really am not going to be responsive to that. I just use that as my dumping ground. I would venture guess that most of your members are not giving you that third email address, but maybe they're giving you a second email address and they're not seeing that stuff and it's getting lost in a cluttered inbox. See if there's a way to elevate to getting that #1 email address. So just a strategy, just a thought. And it's kind of ancillary to an email campaign, but we've seen a lot of success around that as far as call-outs and getting people re-engaged. Okay, so targeting your hot leads. So now you have your invitation list. You've segmented appropriately, so you're targeting folks that are in the area of the event. You have a great strategy around your newbies. That's really working well. They're really excited. They're showing up really well. So now what? Is your job done? Well, if you're using marketing automation, you might already be done. The email portion of the preparation for your event, you could set up initially months in advance and let your marketing campaign just run its course. So marketing automation, setting up these triggered events and using dynamic segments can make your life so easy. Essentially, by definition, what are your hot leads? So what are we going to target for these marketing automation segments? So I'm sure that you guys can come up with a lot of ways to focus and fine-tune on your subscribers and to find those hot leads. And I encourage you to follow your instincts and segment appropriately for those. But for this discussion, let's focus on those that have clicked on specific links in your invitation, but maybe those that still haven't yet registered. So those, in my mind, those are your hot leads. They've opened your email. They've clicked to look at the agenda. They've maybe even looked at the registration page. But maybe there's a reason out there that they haven't yet registered. Maybe it's cost. Maybe they're looking for approval from their boss before they register. But they are considering it, so don't let them get away. Keep that event front of mind for them. This can be done through segmenting folks that have clicked on those, again, those 2 links. This is done in most mid to upper level email platforms. We do this a lot here at HighRoad. And all you have to do is target those folks that have opened and clicked and then exclude those that have registered. And once you set that up as a dynamic segment, you can message over and over to that. And as people register, they're automatically taking themselves out of that. So you're not double pinging anyone. If your marketing event is small and local, maybe remind people every 2 to 3 days. So at least you can get 2 or 3 reminders in there. But if you're marketing for an event that's really big and you're months away, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks until you get really close to the event, and maybe change that to weekly. So with dynamic segmentation, all you have to do is set up this query and then schedule these messages out to go out 2-3 months from now as the event grows nearer. And the message, when using that dynamic segment as the list that it's sending to, when that message is scheduled to go, it will look to that dynamic segment and it will actually upgrade from your list of subscribers automatically without any manual intervention. So this type of marketing automation can be really powerful. I'm hoping you guys can notice that. And it can be used over and over again for your events. So if you're doing a quarterly event, you can use the same segments, just tweak the creative maybe, and then just like a cookie cutter, just continue to use that over and over and over again. Also, don't forget to test. There are so many strategies out there, and I know that many of you guys have been in your specific vertical for a long time, and you know your subscribers really, really well. But there are differences in the way that subscribers engage via email. Just within the last couple of years, there's big changes. Some of them are generational, some of them are regional. So I think you focus on testing, do some testing. I'm not saying that you need to do testing on every campaign, but maybe semi-annual or annual testing, and then really be dedicated to letting your strategy flex based on your findings. Okay, so social. When I was looking for a picture for this slide, I couldn't help but include this picture that I found online because I know that some of you are probably rolling your eyes when we talk about social and social marketing. And it's probably a lot based on what this picture represents, that Bob added a life event to his timeline. He just got married to Jane. And that's kind of, what we kind of snicker about when we talk about social. But like I mentioned earlier, social can be a really valuable part of your strategy. So I think it's kind of like, that crying wolf situation. I mean, you will have people that you have on Twitter that are going to tweet about stream of consciousness kind of things. And I immediately kick them to the curb and don't follow them on Twitter anymore. But some of you may be like me, where, I'm over 40, and the over 35 crowd that has a Twitter account, when I look at the data, I think I'm kind of in the norm. I have a Facebook page where I post pictures of my kids so that my relatives that live far away can actually see them. I really don't care what my high school friends are doing anymore, and I use Twitter solely for work purposes. I have built a network of folks on Twitter that are into email and social marketing, essentially people that I follow that I've seen from shows that I think have really important things to say, valuable things to say. They're willing to share ideas online. Those are the people that I like to tune into, and I'll look at my Twitter feed every other day or every day, once a week or something like that. But maybe your members are the same. And if that's the case, why not have them help you out and spread the word to their friends about your upcoming events? So essentially, if your folks are anything like me, and maybe it's a small percentage, maybe you only have 5% of your total subscriber database that is kind of using social like I am, where I'm tweeting about, hey, look, this upcoming event for this association I belong to, and my Twitter followers are all in the same vertical. Maybe we're all CPAs. That email that you share, or that person shares, if that is 5% of your list, and only 1% of your list actually shares your email to Twitter, and that only results in one additional person showing up to your event, then it is totally worth it, because adding share links to your email literally takes 10 seconds to do. And if it's a paid event and it's resulting in one person joining, that's a huge return on investment. And if it's a non-paid event, but you're getting more engagement from that additional user, or maybe it's a user that's thinking about becoming a member, but they see that email, and now they're going to attend that networking event or that event, and they like the group, now they're going to sign up. It's totally worth the 10 to 15 seconds that it is going to take you to add share tags to your email. So one thing to mention on that too is that there are great strategies out there for increasing the amount of shares that you have from your emails. So once you've kind of started and getting your feet wet with social, you can really employ some of these strategies that will help really improve. Maybe, even just asking your subscribers to share your email. Maybe sharing your email isn't front of mind. Maybe they've never even thought about doing that. But hey, they have a Twitter account, and hey, now that they've asked me to share, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. This is great. That's all they maybe need, is just, hey, a little bit of a nudge to go and share your emails. If you've tried that, again, test. If you've tried that and you start to plateau, maybe start having contests or things that you can do to get people to share your emails. So maybe offer them something. So if they share your email and that results in registrations for upcoming events, then they get a kickback. Maybe it's a Starbucks card. Maybe it's a free pass for another person to the show. Whatever the case may be. All of that is trackable. All of that data is something that we can crunch the data for, build programs and campaigns around. So that's all accessible. So that is social. So, again, testing. I just want to mention one thing before we get to questions. Testing is super important. Don't let it fall by the wayside. Testing is so easy to do, especially in some of the tools that we have here at HighRoad. You can automate your testing. You can evaluate that really easy based on KPIs. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out to us here, and we're happy to help you roll up our sleeves and help you with that data. So that said, I am going to ask Jeff Baker if he has any questions that came through during the session.
All right, thanks, John. If you do have any questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. While you are typing those in, I do want to take a brief moment and let everyone know that this webinar has been approved for ASAE's CAE credit for people that attend the live event. So if you would, please type into that Q&A box your first name and last name and the organization that you're with, so all of that can be tracked and we can get those CAE credits there for you. All right.
Great.
All right. First question here. Do you have to have your data management system integrated to HighRoad to use marketing automation segments?
No, you don't. You can use marketing automation within our Blue Hornet platform. At HighRoad, we use Blue Hornet as one of our email service providers. It's got a great level of flexibility for marketing automation. Essentially what you do is you create a dynamic segment based on whatever criteria you define for your data, and then tie that to a recurring message. So if you have a recurring message, say it's a reminder for the upcoming event 2 weeks from now, you schedule that recurring message, you tie it to that dynamic segment and let it go, and then when that recurring message is scheduled to be sent, it will look to that dynamic segment, refresh the data, and basically based on that criteria that you've set, it will send out to all the updated folks who meet that criteria. Now, so as long as you are importing your data and keeping a up-to-date data record within your subscriber database, you do not need an integration. There are some things like, say, the event registration. So the use case that I used where I said you want to target your hot leads but exclude those that have registered for the event, you can either have an integration where we integrate your event registration site to the email platform so that data is synced up nightly, or if you have your event registration page and you can export those that actually have registered for the event and import those manually into the email platform, then you can still run that with the most up-to-date data. So you can do it either way. Some is manual, some is more integrated and easier to use. It just depends.
Okay, great. Next question. Can you give an example of how you would track an email referral to provide a reward or contest?
Sure. So what we've done is, and you guys might have seen this from some of our invitations, what we've done is we create a custom field associated with each subscriber in the subscriber database. And using a custom field, you put into the invitation saying, share code, and then percent, share code percent. Maybe, for instance, that's the name of the custom field that we randomize the number for. So when that person goes and shares the email to their social network, say Twitter, and I see that and I say, oh, great, an upcoming event having to do with CPAs. I click on that. I go to the web-hosted version of that email. I can see that share code that was generated, or that is associated, I should say, with that original subscriber. And when I go to the event registration page, I can enter that registration code into the event registration site, and then I can pull reporting to say, Steve subscriber registered with discount code 12345. That registration code 12345 is associated back to, say, for instance, Jeff Baker, who shared the original email. So I can easily tie back to folks who are the original subscribers that their sharing resulted in an actual registration. So we can, if you're interested in doing something like that, just reach out to us. We can help you build those strategies. It's not very difficult, and once we kind of get a couple of those under our belt, you'll be surprised at how simple it is to actually deploy.
Okay, great. And again, if you do have some questions, feel free still to type them in. I think we're going to take one more question here, go ahead and wrap it up, but feel free to continue to type those in. We can follow up offline to answer all of those questions. All right. Next question, what platforms can I use for marketing automation?
Well, that's a great question. So for us here at HighRoad, we do have two different email platforms that we use. One is kind of more on the lower end, and it doesn't have as much automation opportunity. But again, we use Blue Hornet for the more enterprise level feature-rich platform. With that platform, we have the ability to set up a lot of marketing automation. So again, kind of like the original question with reoccurring messaging and dynamic segmentation, the time to actually set that up in Blue Hornet is minutes. It takes a lot longer for the business to actually define what the campaign should look like and what the creative looks like. Once you guys have defined the campaign and built the creative, actually building the segmentation is minutes. So if that's something that interests you guys, then again, reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you out with that.
Great. Thanks, John. Do you want to give a quick little wrap-up, and then we can go ahead and end?
Yeah, thank you again to everyone. Again, it was my pleasure speaking to you guys about event marketing. I hope that what we discussed today gives you guys some ideas of how you might be able to market effectively for your upcoming event. Again, as always, HighRoad is here to help you guys do more relevant, successful email campaigns. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out to us, and we're happy to help.
Great. Well, thank you all for your participation in today's webinar, Email Marketing to Increase Event Attendance. A special thank you to our speaker, John Brandt. Today's session was recorded. If you would like a copy of this presentation, feel free to type in your email address into the Q&A pod. And a reminder, if you would like your CAE credit, again, type your name and organization into the Q&A box as well. This webinar is copyrighted by HighRoad Solution with all rights reserved. This now concludes today's program. Thank you, and you may now disconnect.